So I have had a very long last couple of weeks. Fast forward a bit, here I am today. I'm out in the woods, sitting by the Potomac River. And my intention today was to film a study with me outdoors for a few hours, and I was only able to get an hour worth of footage because although I plugged my phone into the portable charger that I brought, I didn't turn the portable charger on and my phone died as I was filming. So I don't have as much footage as I wanted to, but that's fine because the real reason I want to come outdoors today was to relax, get some fresh air, and just kind of reset. The last 2 weeks have been really tough. We were working in our cardio block, learning cardiovascular diseases, physiology, pathology, all that. And our school teaches it in a 4-week course, which means that at the end of the 4 weeks, we have an exam that's really long compared to our other tests. The rest of them are usually like 2 or 3 weeks of content. So 4 weeks was just like extra content. And yeah, I think a couple weeks ago, my mental health was not great. Been having some more anxiety. I've had a couple of panic attacks before, but this was like chronic. It was a day-to-day thing. Like I would kind of wake up and just feel anxious, like I have to study, and I have to be productive. And it didn't feel good, and I felt like that all the way until the exam, which was this past Monday. It's Saturday today. So 3 weeks of classes and another week of class plus a lot of anxiety. And then I took the exam and it went well. I did about average, which is okay with me. And after the exam, I really wanted to relax, but then I looked at my calendar and I had so much else to do. I had a couple more classes this week, and on top of that, I had to work on this grant for my summer research. But after the exam, I didn't really have time to rest. I still had classes to go to. I shadowed a doctor that week, and during the week, I was trying to get some sleep. I went to bed early for the first time in a long time. I went to bed at 10 and I couldn't sleep. I kept waking up and it just felt like I couldn't breathe. Like I had a lot of chest tightness, shortness of breath. If I fell asleep, I would wake up immediately and it's almost like my brain just kind of forgot how to breathe. And naturally, I went to the ER, spent 6 hours there, which was fun. I actually haven't been to the ER before, so that was an interesting experience. Half my mentors, I feel like, are emergency medicine physicians, and it's just nice to, I guess, be on the other side of that story and experience it. Obviously, I hope no one has to, but I think, after I saw the doctor, we did the EKG, and we did the chest x-ray, which are all things I've learned how to read at this point. And so I asked the doctors if I could see the EKG, if I could see the chest x-ray. They were happy to show me, especially since I'm a medical student. And knock on wood, those were like the healthiest readings that I could have ever seen, like in school. Like the chest x-ray was super clean, EKG was super fine, and what that meant was there's nothing physically wrong with me that we know of, and that this manifestation of like that shortness of breath I had at night was just anxiety or something else mental. And I recognized my stress levels were at an all-time high. My mental health wasn't doing great. And I think that was a product of just kind of waking up at 8, doing work until 8 or 9 o'clock, and then, not having much time for myself. I haven't been going to the gym as often. And a lot of that was because I really couldn't find time in my schedule to just kind of insert that time for myself. I've been talking to other classmates about this and how, they've been doing during this cardio unit, which has been really tough for a lot of us. Like, med school has not been easy. Every class we've taken so far has been difficult, but the cardio unit was something special. For some reason, it was just really challenging for a lot of people to balance their mental health, and it was just interesting to see that wasn't just me. I'm not sure if that's because of this unit in particular, or if just the fact that we've been in school for 6 months straight now, and we're really close to spring break, and we're just kind of running on fumes. And hearing that, I've been getting a lot of second doubts about, is school worth it? Is it worth risking your mental health? Is it worth all the debt? And I think overthinking, overgeneralizing, and all those thoughts were not helping my anxiety. What did help, though, was I also had a chance to shadow a doctor this week. And fortunate enough, I've been able to shadow a general surgeon. Not everyone gets the opportunity to shadow in the OR, especially this early in medical education. But it was just really interesting to see the cases. We saw 3 cases from pre-op to op. We didn't see any post-op. But to be in the room and watching some laparoscopic procedures. Laparoscopic means you've got a camera in sort of the abdomen area, and you can do work inside of the belly by making some small incisions and putting some tools through that instead of making a large open cut. And so I was able to watch some laparoscopic procedures, and throughout the entire time, I'm more familiar with all the structures that I'm seeing. I've never seen a gallbladder actually before, and the first time I've seen a gallbladder, it wasn't exactly what I thought it would look like. Nothing ever looks like it does in the pictures. Nothing ever looks like how it looks in a textbook. So that was really interesting to learn new procedures and get to know this physician a little bit more. And at the end of the day, I walked around with another clinician in the hospital because they had a case of where a patient just had a lot of complications after surgery about a month ago. And she had been having a lot of problems. I read her chart, and it was just back to back. They had to put in a tube. She has just not been able to walk for the last month. And so, the clinician tells me, hey, you just saw these 3 surgeries, but I want you to come and take a look at this patient with me before we leave today. And I read the chart, and I'm thinking, okay, this is a person who's going to be super stressed, super upset. And so I walk into the room with the clinician, and I'm expecting the worst. And she was actually in really good spirits, surprisingly. She looked really good for a person who'd been in the hospital for a month. And so I got to talk to her. She asked me where I'm from. We just talked about her day-to-day life. There was one point where the clinician was cleaning her bandages, and she asked me what year in school I was in. And then the clinician went to remove the Band-Aid, and she was wincing and just was in incredible pain. And before I answered her question, I put my hand on her shoulder, and then she seemed to relax. And I said, I'm a first-year medical student. And from then on, we just had this really rich conversation about how she was feeling, her experiences in the hospital. As interesting as observing the surgeries was, having that human connection was a lot more impactful for me. And I realized that, the operations that I got to watch was really cool being in the OR, but it was really that human connection that really brought it full circle for me and reminded me of why I got into medicine and why I want to do this. And it's kind of like there's obstacles that I have in front of me, and I really have to jump over them and work my way through it so that I can become that doctor that I want to be. However, I don't think you need to risk your mental health. So I've decided I am willing to put in a more concerted effort to taking care of myself, prioritizing more exercise time and time to go outdoors and get some fresh air. I haven't had a chance to go hammocking in, I think, almost a year now, and it's something I really enjoyed doing before I started school. So hopefully I'll be able to incorporate my med school life into my free time and nature time so I can kind of get a blend. As you can see today, like I mentioned, I was doing the study with me. That's my laptop, that's my iPad, and that is my lunch bag and a little table that I brought to hold my stuff. And I showed you guys earlier my little charger. It's the first time I used it, and I'm really sad that I lost so much footage, but that's okay. On another note, this week was the AMA Medical Student Advocacy Conference, and for the first time I had the opportunity to talk about public health, talk about health policy directly with either Congress people or their staffers. And I think that's just an amazing privilege to have, to be a medical student, to have some level of expertise or some experience in healthcare to potentially influence the laws that are shaping our country. And that was an amazing experience. I hope to do it again and be more involved with the AMA. I don't think I have as many doubts or second thoughts as I was having before, because by the end of this week, I had been able to shadow doctors, I've been able to connect with a patient, I've been able to connect with policymakers and discuss healthcare, and I really think that I'm starting to make that impact that I've always wanted to have. And I really see myself going a lot further. And I think in terms of my mental health, yes, there are a lot of things that are bothering me, things that are stressing me out, things that I can't control, but the thing that I can control is how I treat myself and whether or not I'm making time to prioritize me, and whether or not I am prioritizing me and making time for myself. So this is going to anyone who, if you're in healthcare, if you're in medicine, if you are a student, or you are just going through something, it's gonna get better, but you have to try. And most importantly, you have to try to take care of yourself, because being able to take care of yourself means you can move on to do better things, I guess. I don't know how to sign off on this. But nevertheless, I'm gonna chill out here for a few more minutes and then leave before the sun sets. Signing off, this is Tony Chang, MS1.